Have you ever wondered what makes a mature man look at one woman and think, she's the one I want to spend the rest of my life with, while he sees others as just pleasant company? Today, we're exploring the specific feelings you can evoke that make him choose you over everyone else, not just for now, but forever. Welcome back to 60 Wise Living Advice, where we celebrate the beauty, wisdom, and endless possibilities of life after 60. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad you found us. This is your sanctuary, a community where mature women come together to share insights, support each other, and discover that our most captivating years can still be ahead of us. These aren't fleeting emotions or surface attractions we're discussing today. They're profound feelings that create unshakable commitment and devotion. The poet Rumi wrote, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." At our age, we understand that lasting love isn't about chemistry alone. It's about creating feelings so profound, so irreplaceable, that choosing you becomes the most natural decision a man has ever made. Before we explore these transformative feelings, let me share something important. This isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about understanding how your authentic feminine wisdom, gained through decades of living, can naturally evoke the deepest, most committed love in a man who's ready for real partnership. The beauty of love after 60 is that both people have lived long enough to recognize true treasure when they find it. You're not competing with fantasies or trying to be someone you're not. You're learning to express your authentic self in ways that make a mature man think, "I've been searching for this my entire life." These feelings work because they address what mature men truly crave: genuine understanding, emotional sanctuary, and the kind of partnership that enhances rather than complicates their lives. So let's discover these powerful feelings that make him choose you over everyone else, not just today, but for all the days to come.
The first feeling: he feels like his most authentic self around you. The most powerful feeling you can create in a mature man is letting him feel completely authentically himself in your presence. No masks, no performance, no worrying about saying the wrong thing. This feeling is so rare that once he experiences it with you, everyone else will feel exhausted by comparison. Think about it. How many people in your own life can you be completely yourself with? It's probably a very short list. For men, especially mature men who've spent decades being the provider, the protector, the one who has it all together, this kind of freedom is intoxicating. When you respond to his quirks with genuine interest instead of eye rolls, when you let him have his opinions without trying to change his mind, when you actually seem to enjoy the things that make him different, something magical happens. He starts to relax in ways he probably hasn't in years. Margaret, 65, discovered this accidentally with Robert. When he sheepishly admitted he still collected comic books, something his ex-wife had always teased him about, Margaret didn't laugh or make him feel silly. Instead, her face lit up with real curiosity. "Really? Show me your favorites. I want to understand what you love about them." Robert later told her, "I realized I'd been hiding parts of myself for so long, I'd forgotten what it felt like to have someone actually want to know the real me." Here's what's beautiful about this. It doesn't require you to fake interest in things you don't care about. It's about genuine curiosity about who he really is underneath all the roles he plays. Maybe he loves old movies, has strong opinions about coffee, or gets excited talking about his garden. When you show real interest in these pieces of him, he feels seen in a way that's incredibly rare. Most people in his life probably see him as the responsible one, the practical one, the one who handles things. But you see the man who gets excited about his hobbies, who has opinions about everything, who maybe still feels like that young guy inside, despite his gray hair. This isn't about agreeing with everything he says or pretending to love everything he loves. It's about creating a space where he doesn't have to edit himself, where he can share his thoughts without wondering if you'll think less of him. When you become that safe space for his authentic self, you don't just become someone he loves, you become someone he can't imagine living without.
The second feeling, he feels emotionally understood at the deepest level. Have you ever had someone understand not just what you said, but what you really meant? The feeling behind the words. That moment when someone gets it without you having to explain yourself over and over? That's the second feeling that makes a man absolutely devoted to you. Most conversations stay on the surface. How was your day? Fine. How are the kids? They're good. But emotional understanding goes deeper. It's when you hear him say, "My son called today," and you pick up on the slight worry in his voice, the pause before he continues. Instead of just nodding and moving on, you might say something like, "You sound like there's something on your mind about that call." Suddenly, he feels seen in a way that's so rare, it's almost shocking. Dorothy, 68, experienced this with James when he was talking about his adult children. He kept saying he just wanted them to be happy, but Dorothy heard something deeper. She gently said, "It sounds like you're torn between wanting to share all the wisdom you've learned and knowing they need to figure things out for themselves. That must be really hard." James stopped mid-sentence and just stared at her. "Yes," he said quietly. "That's exactly it. I've never been able to put it into words before." This kind of understanding doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you listen, not just to respond or to fix or to give advice, but to truly understand what's going on in his heart. You notice the things he doesn't say out loud, the pride mixed with worry when he talks about retirement, the excitement tinged with fear when he mentions new plans. The beautiful thing is, you probably already do this naturally with your friends and family. Women are often gifted at reading between the lines, at sensing the emotions underneath the words. With men, though, we sometimes switch into solution mode instead of understanding mode. When you become the person who truly understands his inner world, his hopes, his fears, the things that keep him up at night, the dreams he's maybe never shared with anyone, you become irreplaceable. Because feeling understood at that level, it's like coming home after a lifetime of feeling like a stranger, even to yourself. The third feeling, he feels valued for who he is, not what he provides. Here's something that might surprise you. Most men have spent their entire lives being loved for what they can do, not for who they are. Think about it. From childhood, boys are praised for achievements, for being strong, for fixing things, for taking care of others. Rarely does anyone say, "I just love spending time with you because of your kind heart." This creates a deep fear in many men, especially as they age. What happens when I can't do as much? When I can't provide the way I used to? When my body isn't as strong? Will anyone still want me around? When you love a man for his character instead of his capabilities, you're giving him something revolutionary, the feeling that he matters just for being himself. Linda, 63, discovered this during a difficult time when Thomas was dealing with health problems. He kept apologizing for not being able to help around the house like he used to, for needing to rest more, for feeling useless. Instead of trying to convince him he was still useful, Linda took a different approach. She said, "Thomas, do you know what I love most about our evenings together? It's not what you do, it's just you. The way you notice the sunset and point it out to me. How you remember stories from your childhood that make me laugh. The gentleness in your voice when you ask about my day. These things, they're not going anywhere, no matter what." Thomas cried. At 67 years old, it was the first time anyone had ever loved him just for being himself. This doesn't mean you don't appreciate the things he does for you. Of course you do. But it means you also treasure the things that make him uniquely him. Maybe it's his terrible jokes that somehow always make you smile. Maybe it's the way he gets excited about birds at the feeder. Maybe it's his thoughtfulness in remembering small details about your life. These are the parts of him that age can't touch, that circumstances can't change, that will be there whether he's healthy or sick, wealthy or struggling, strong or fragile. When you consistently show that you value these unchangeable parts of who he is, something beautiful happens. He stops performing and starts just being. And that's when real love can flourish.
The fourth feeling is that he feels like the hero of your story, without pressure to rescue you. Every person wants to feel like they matter, like their presence in someone's life makes a real difference. For men, this runs especially deep. They want to feel like they're contributing something meaningful to your world, not just taking up space in it. The beautiful thing about this is it's not about needing him to rescue you or solve all your problems. You're a strong, capable woman who's been managing life just fine, thank you very much. This is about something much more subtle and powerful. Letting him know that your life is genuinely better because he's in it. Maybe it's the way he always knows exactly what to say when you've had a frustrating day. Maybe it's how he remembers your friend's name and asks how she's doing. Maybe it's something as simple as how he makes grocery shopping fun because he always finds something interesting to point out. Patricia, 71, figured this out with David in the sweetest way. One day, after they'd taken a different route to dinner that led them past a gorgeous garden they'd never noticed before, she said, "You know what I love about you? You're always finding these little surprises that make ordinary days feel special. I would have driven the same boring route forever, but you help me see things I would have missed." David lit up like a Christmas tree. He wasn't solving a major crisis or rescuing her from disaster. He was just being himself. But she noticed how that made her life richer. This is about paying attention to the small ways he enhances your daily experience. Maybe he's the one who always thinks to bring you coffee when he gets up first. Maybe he has this knack for finding the perfect parking spot. Maybe he tells stories that make you laugh until your sides hurt. The magic happens when you actually tell him these things. I love how you always find something to laugh about, even on tough days. You make everything feel lighter. Your perspective on things always helps me see situations differently. You have this way of cutting through all the noise. When a man feels like his natural way of being makes your life better, not because you're helpless without him, but because he genuinely adds joy, comfort, and richness to your days, he'll want to keep being that person for you forever. What makes this so powerful is the specificity of your appreciation. Instead of generic, "you're wonderful," you're pointing out exactly how he adds value to your world in ways that are uniquely him.
The fifth feeling. He feels completely safe to be vulnerable.
Most women don't realize how terrifying vulnerability is for men. From boyhood, they're taught that showing fear, sadness, or uncertainty makes them weak. So by the time they reach 60, many men have spent decades carrying their deepest worries completely alone. When you become the one person he can safely share these feelings with, you become irreplaceable in a way that goes beyond romance. You become his emotional sanctuary. But we often get this wrong. Our natural instinct is to try to fix his feelings or make them better. He shares that he's worried about his health, and we immediately jump into problem-solving mode. He expresses fear about aging, and we rush to reassure him. He talks about feeling lost in retirement, and we start listing all the things he could do. Eleanor, 69, learned this lesson during one of the hardest periods of William's life. His brother had died unexpectedly, and William was spiraling into questions about his own mortality, his regrets, what his life had meant. Eleanor's first instinct was to remind him of all the good he'd done, all the people who loved him, all the reasons he should feel better. But instead, she took a breath and simply said, "This is such a huge loss. You're questioning everything right now, aren't you? I'm right here with you in this, whatever you're feeling." William broke down completely. Later, he told her, "For the first time in my life, someone didn't try to talk me out of my feelings or fix me. You just stayed with me in the hard place. I've never felt so loved." This is about resisting every instinct to make his difficult emotions go away. Instead, you become the person who can sit in the darkness with him without trying to turn on the lights. You let him be scared about his health without immediately suggesting doctors. You let him grieve losses without rushing him toward acceptance. You let him feel uncertain about the future without bombarding him with solutions. When a man discovers he can share his deepest fears with you, and you don't run, don't judge, don't try to fix him, you just stay present with him in whatever he's feeling, something extraordinary happens. You become the safest person in his world. And once a man has tasted that kind of emotional safety with you, everyone else will feel dangerous by comparison. You become the person he literally cannot imagine living without, because you're the only one who knows all of him and loves him anyway. When you can create all 5 of these feelings, helping him feel authentically himself, deeply understood, valued for who he is, significant in your story, and safe to be vulnerable, you don't just win his love. You become essential to his emotional well-being, the person he cannot imagine living without. As we reach the end of our profound conversation today, I want you to embrace this empowering truth. You have within you everything needed to evoke the kind of love that makes you irreplaceable. The 5 feelings we've explored aren't skills to master. They're expressions of the wisdom, compassion, and emotional depth you've naturally developed through your decades of living and loving. Making him feel authentically himself, deeply understood, valued for his essence, significant in your story, and safe to be vulnerable. These aren't techniques to perfect. They're natural outcomes when mature feminine wisdom meets authentic masculine heart. You're not trying to manipulate feelings. You're creating conditions where genuine love can flourish. What makes this season of love so extraordinary is that you're no longer trying to become someone worthy of being chosen. You're learning to express the worthiness you've always possessed in ways that make choosing you feel like the most natural decision in the world. You've lived long enough to understand that real love isn't about perfection. It's about creating profound emotional connection through authenticity, presence, and genuine care.
The feelings that make a mature man choose you over everyone else aren't about competition or comparison. They're about creating a unique emotional experience that only you can provide. When you offer these gifts from your authentic heart rather than calculated strategy, you create the kind of irreplaceable connection that deepens with time rather than fading with familiarity. Remember that any man worthy of your love will recognize the extraordinary value of what you offer and will respond with the kind of devoted partnership that honors your worth. The right person will choose you not just for today, but for all the tomorrows he can imagine, because life with you feels like the fulfillment of everything he's been searching for. If this message has touched your heart today, please consider subscribing to our 60 Wise Living Advice family. When you subscribe, you're joining a community of women who understand that our most powerful years of love and connection are often still ahead of us. We're here every week exploring the magnificent possibilities of mature relationships built on depth, authenticity, and mutual appreciation. And please, share this video with another woman who needs to remember that she possesses the power to evoke profound, lasting love exactly as she is. Sometimes we all need to be reminded that our life experience isn't something to overcome in love. It's our greatest asset for creating the kind of deep connection that transforms both people involved. Until we meet again next week, remember this: you don't need to become different to deserve being chosen. You need to become more authentically yourself, more present, more genuine, more willing to share the emotional gifts that only come with having lived fully and loved deeply. Keep shining your irreplaceable light, beautiful souls. The world needs women who understand that mature love isn't about recapturing youth. It's about celebrating the emotional richness, wisdom, and depth that can only come with time.